Wow. Whew. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing some new product by Rare Beauty. I have some of their newest products that have just recently been launched. I originally was going to get the primer when she first launched, but I'm not a huge, I have combo to oily skin, and I rarely use hydrating primers unless I'm using a really matte foundation. So I did actually pass on that one, but I was super excited to see she is coming out with a pore diffusing primer. So this is new. It's a hydrating, cushiony gel primer that blurs the look of pores and fine lines. It boosts and extends makeup wear, and it helps fight shine all day. And it has hyaluronic acid to help hydrate and condition the skin. It has green tea extract to help soothe and calm the skin, and it has vitamin E to protect the skin from environmental stressors. So it's supposed to be lightweight gel texture. It's supposed to help absorb shine, visibly even out skin texture, and smooth away the look of pores quickly with a soft focus effect. I really like to see a primer that is going to help mattify your skin and fight shine all day, but it's also not going to dry out your skin. So it has ingredients that are going to help prolong the wear, but also keep your skin hydrated. So for somebody like me who has kind of more combination skin, it's nice to see one that's not just specifically for mattifying, you know what I mean? I did get the mini, so you can get the full size, which has 0.94 ounces, almost a fluid ounce, for $34 Canadian. And this is half an ounce, so 0.5 fluid ounces, and it has 15 milliliters, so a little bit more than half of the full size, and it's $18 Canadian. So really reasonably priced in my opinion for a primer. So yeah, I'm really pumped to be trying this. So this is the packaging. It's maybe not the most luxurious feeling packaging, and it's kind of more simple in terms of looks wise as well, but I do think it's cute. It kind of looks slightly cheap. When you look at the bottom here, you can see kind of the plastic at the bottom. I do think personally some of Rare Beauty's packaging looks and sometimes feels a little bit cheap. But really, as I've said multiple times, it's what's inside that counts. But then there's also some products from Rare Beauty that I think are absolutely stunning, extremely unique, and really incredible packaging. So I've never had an issue with packaging. There's nothing about any of the packaging that's deterred me from purchasing or that has really upset me, but it just can sometimes feel a little cheap. It's not very weighty. It's plastic. This is the first one that I've felt looks cheap. I think it's because it's see-through and you can see the plastic at the bottom. But yeah, it's also made in Korea, which I find cool. Oh wow, that's made in Dominican Republic and made in Italy. Wow. Okay, so let's just stop talking and go ahead and try it. Let's see what this looks like. It's a pump. This is what the actual primer looks like. It has that kind of cloudy color to it. It's a little bit thicker. It looks a little bit almost more silicone-y. So some of my absolute favorite primers are Pore Diffusing. I feel like I have really enlarged pores. They're not the worst in the world, but it's something that I personally like to touch up. So what I'm gonna do is apply it to half of my face for now, just to see what it looks like. It has a really nice gel texture and consistency to it. It feels really nice on the skin. It really does feel slightly hydrating, but it does have that nice lightweight gel texture, which if you are a combination to oily skin like me, you will understand what I'm talking about. You want that lightweight feel on your skin. So I definitely see some smoothing of my skin for sure, but not completely diffusing all of my pores. So what I sometimes like to do is actually build up where my really enlarged pores are. So I'm going to try to do that. I just take a really tiny amount, and then I just go over this little area that has more enlarged pores, and I kind of press it into the skin, just a little bit of extra product, and you're not moving it around. You're just kind of pressing it in. Okay, so yeah, it definitely helped minimize my pores for sure. But I actually feel like it's more mattified my skin slightly. It's definitely minimized pores and my texture. It's smoothed out my skin for sure, but it just hasn't completely diffused those really enlarged pores like some of my other primers, like maybe my Professional probably would have, diffused the larger pores a little better, but it's actually really nice. So I'm gonna get up close so you can see the difference between sides of my face. does look slightly mattified as well, which is nice. And I'm actually really, really excited to see like how it's going to extend the wear of my makeup and all that. So I'm really, really impressed with the way it's applied. Is it maybe the absolute best pore diffusing primer? No, not in my opinion, but it seems to be a very good all over smoothing primer, and hopefully it can help prolong the wear. So far so good. And like I said, it feels really, really comfortable as well. Like it feels hydrating upon application, but when you actually look at your skin, it actually looks a little bit more mattified. So I think we're good to go. I'm gonna actually go ahead and apply my base makeup, and then we're gonna come back and test the next product, which is the Always an Optimist Weightless Eye Primer with the Discovery Eyeshadow Palette. So I will be right back to review these. Okay, so I'm back and I finished my base makeup. So taking a look at how the foundation and everything is sitting, it looks so smooth. I barely see any of my pores, and just my whole face looks very, very smooth. I definitely think the primer helped smooth out my skin and prep the skin for a really flawless application of the rest of the makeup. So as you can see, my face looks very smooth, and I'm really, really, really happy with the primer so far. Obviously, we'll have to see how my makeup holds up. Oh yeah, I forgot to apply highlight. Duh. And I tried to use some Rare Beauty products. Now I didn't use the Rare Body. Cool. I didn't use any of the Rare Beauty blushes because I'm testing one of my newer blushes, but I am going ahead with the Rare Beauty highlight. Such a stunning highlight. There we go. That's a little bit better. So now the next product we're testing is the eyeshadow primer. So this is called the Always an Optimist Weightless Eyeshadow Primer. This has 0.10 ounces, which is 3 milliliters. It's $23 Canadian. It's supposed to be a weightless hydrating primer, eyeshadow primer, sorry, that smooths lids while prepping for longer lasting, amped up color that won't crease, fade, or smudge. It's a creamy primer that dries quickly to a seamless, silky, smooth base, perfect for eyeshadow application. It has a peach tinted formula to help colors pop, bring out the best in your shadows for a more vibrant, longer lasting wear. So this is an example of packaging that I absolutely love. I really, really enjoy the way that this looks and feels, and I think this is one that has really great packaging. And this is the applicator, which I think is nice. If it's for personal use, it's easy to just apply and then blend it with your finger or a sponge. I really like primers that have this type of applicator. So let's just go ahead and try it. So you can either use your finger or a brush to blend it in, just like any other primer. It feels very thin and lightweight for sure. It does have a bit of a tint to it. Now, it definitely doesn't have as much coverage in terms of concealing like veins or discoloration in eyelids as, for example, like the MAC Paint Pot or the P. Louise base, but it definitely has a little bit of coverage. Like it dried down really fast, but it did feel really kind of creamy and very lightweight and thin. Really like the way that that feels. I just personally like to go over with the clean side of my beauty blender for any eye primer to pick up any excess, just so that everything applies really, really evenly. So what we're going to do is now test the Discovery eyeshadow palette. Selena's third eyeshadow palette she's launched with Rare Beauty. So they came out with 2 eyeshadow palettes, which were all metallics, and I wasn't super in love with the idea, so I did pass on those launches, but when she launched this one, I had to grab it. Packaging I mentioned in my haul isn't my favorite. I like the way it looks. I really like the sleek look. It's unique. It has like this dip in here. It's just unique packaging. I really, really like that. I just personally don't like the way that it closes, as you can even just hear. I think it's magnetic, but it's not really strong, so it just feels like it doesn't close really completely. Like it does. It's not like it like sits open. I don't know. I guess it's not that bad, but that's just one comment I made in the haul. I think it's a very cute idea to have the mattes and the metallics in this like crescent moon shaped, you know, layout with the larger glitter. Now, if you aren't a big pressed glitter fan, the largest shadow in this is pressed glitter, so right off the bat you might not be the biggest fan of this one. This one, which is different than her first eyeshadow palettes, does have matte formulas, which is nice. I like to see that. It's easier to create a full look. What I'm going to do is actually just dive into this, and I'm just going to play around. I will you know, show you which shades I'm using, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I think after I create a look, and then I will go about my day with a wear test for the products to see how they last. Okay guys, so I finished up my makeup look with the eyeshadow palette, and I'm actually really impressed so far. I really enjoyed the color combos that they did for the mattes. So I feel like you can kind of go either warm toned or cool toned with this palette. So this brown shade here is pretty neutral. Like in this look, it looks a little bit more warm. I think it's a little more cool than warm, but mixed with the peach shade, it creates a little bit more of a warmer crease, which is what I went with today, but it's still pretty neutral. You could go even warmer and apply more of the peach, but I wanted to keep it a little more neutral since I have a pretty cool toned lip. And then there's also this very cool toned kind of lavender purpley shade. So you could kind of use that to create an even more cool toned look. So I feel like there's options for cool and warm toned. The only two shades I didn't use was the cool toned purple and this metallic right here, which is, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, I didn't even swatch it yet. So it's a duochrome, a little bit more warm toned than it looked in the palette. Ooh, that would have been even nice with this look. Ooh, look at that. It has like almost like a fuchsia like flip to it, but it has a bit more of like a golden bronzy kind of peachy base to it as well. Ooh, that is so pretty. I'm excited to play around with that shade. I think they blended out really nicely. I feel like this eye blended out easier than this eye, and I think it's because the primer had sat longer. So this eye, I don't know if you guys can see where I initially started blending's a little bit darker than everywhere else. So this is actually really common with a lot of eyeshadow primers. So it's not really a negative, but it's just I wanted to put it out there in case you experience the same thing. Sometimes with eyeshadow primers, you have to just let them sit for a couple minutes. Just lets it set down even more, or you can go in with like a cream or even a translucent, even just your face setting powder. I do that a lot too. And it sets down the eyeshadow primer just so that you don't have any of that stickiness to it. So that's something I recommend, is either letting it sit for a minute or two or setting the primer down. And once you do that, like this eye blended seamlessly. At first I was like, maybe these don't blend as well as I was hoping. But then I went onto the side and I was like, whew, it blended like perfectly. Mattes are really, really, really like silky, creamy. They're very thin. They're virtually powderless. They really have barely any kickback. Like there's no fallout. So really, really, really beautiful. They're very pigmented and blendable. So I'm really happy with the matte formula. Now the metallic formula, really stunning as well. These are also quite thin. They don't feel super, super like chunky thick, which I really like the thinner metallic formulas. They have less fallout. I had zero fallout with either of the metallics. They're very pigmented. They're very stunning shades. The light reflective. The gold is a really yellow gold, so it's a very warm shade. And then there's this lighter one, which is a little bit more like peachy rose gold, but a lot lighter. And then this glitter is really, really pretty as well. It's a multicolored glitter, so there's a bit of silver, a little bit of gold in it. It's not maybe the absolute best glitter in the whole entire world, still not as good as my Tati Beauty favorites, but for a pressed glitter, it's actually quite impressive. It's pretty self-adhesive. Like I was able to pick it up on a brush and apply it on my lower lash line without wetting it at all. So I would say they are quite close to the Tati Beauty, but just not quite as good, but really, really close. So I'd say I really, really enjoyed every single shade I used. There's really no complaints at all. For somebody like me who loves everything glitter, I actually really like that the largest shade is a glitter because it's probably the shade I would use the most of. But if you don't like glitter, then you might not want to grab this one because it does have the largest shade glitter. But I think that it's a pretty stunning palette from first impression. I'm really impressed with how everything applied, and I would most definitely recommend it. I think it's a really nice addition to the Rare Beauty family. I will have to let you guys know how the eyeshadow wears and how, if I notice any creasing or anything. Yeah, everything so far is really good. I liked both primers, eye and face, and I really liked the eyeshadow palette. So what I'm gonna do is throw up some swatches of the eyeshadow palette here, and then I will pop back in at the end of the day to let you guys know how everything is holding up. So I will see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so it is 9:30 and it's been about 6.5 hours since I finished my makeup. Just here to update you guys on how these products performed. So first is the primer. I'm actually really enjoying this. I do feel quite mattified and very smooth. I have maybe just a touch of a shine here. I really don't have much on my forehead, just very minimal. As I said, this foundation is a really good foundation. It typically lasts well on me, but that being said, it's not matte finish. So usually if I wear a natural finish foundation, I develop some sort of shine. No wear on my chin, really, like maybe just a little bit. Really minimal wear in the areas that I normally would have wear. So I'm really, really impressed with this primer. I do think it extended the wear of my makeup. I do believe that it helped smooth out my skin. And I do believe it gave a little bit of hydration, but also helped control the shine. So I really believe the claims are true about this one, and I'm really excited to continue to use it. Then the eye primer, I've had zero fading. So yeah, I really think that it's a great eye primer. It's the type of product I really need to continue to test. As a first impression, it applied well. Everything went over well. I do recommend letting it sit for a minute or setting it down, but I actually recommend that with almost all of my eyeshadow primers. So I really think that this provides a good base. It's slightly tinted, so it gives you that little bit of evening out of tone. Then the eyeshadow palette, I actually really like this. I feel like as the days gone on, I like this look more and more. It's one I definitely want to continue to play with. Sets you up with enough variety in texture, in shade, in undertone that you could create a lot of different beautiful looks. So I'm super pumped to play with this as well more and see the different looks. I'm really excited to play around with this shade because it looks absolutely like stunning. So yeah, I honestly think that this is another successful round of products from Rare Beauty. I mean, guys, this brand is really doing a great job so far from what I've tested. I definitely recommend Rare Beauty as a brand, and I definitely recommend these 3 products that I tested today upon first impression. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell if you want notifications of my upcoming videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.